Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? Welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I really do appreciate it. On this edition, we're going to be talking a little bit more about Micheal Thomas's contract. Of course, you already know that Micheal Thomas is looking for a new contract, and the Saints organization want to sign Micheal Thomas to at least a 5-year deal. And Micheal Thomas is looking between $20 and $22 million a year. That would make Micheal Thomas the highest paid wide receiver in the National Football League and make him the first $100 million receiver to ever play the game. Man, that is huge right there. And I made a previous podcast and I was talking a little bit about Micheal Thomas and how I feel he deserves his brand new contract and he deserves to be a $100 million receiver because he earned his money. And I talked about that because there were a lot of people, surprisingly, in the Who Dat Nation that had problems with Micheal Thomas getting a big contract. And I asked people, listeners of the show, and I want to give a special shout out to anybody listening to the show. I appreciate that. But I encourage them to comment and let me know if you don't feel that Micheal Thomas needs to be the highest paid wide receiver in the National Football League. Please tell me why. Here we stand today. Because now I want to address these people that feel that Micheal Thomas does not deserve a $20 million contract, okay? And I also want to address these people that said that I was ragging on Drew Brees on my last podcast. And if you think that I was ragging on Drew Brees, I don't know what to tell you. Because I said constantly that I love and respect Drew Brees. I know we love Drew Brees, and anytime we say anything negative about Drew Brees is sacrilegious, but let's just call a spade a spade. Drew Brees did not take a pay cut. When he signed that 5-year, $100 million deal, he did not take a pay cut. Sorry, but it's facts. And it's amazing to me how these individuals want Micheal Thomas to take a hometown discount. Do you all realize that Micheal Thomas was drafted in the second round of the 2016 NFL draft? Do you all realize that Micheal Thomas, for the 3 years that he has played in the National Football League, has only accumulated $4.5 million? Now, I know what you're thinking. You think, man, these guys playing the NFL, man, they make so much money. $4.5 million to an NFL player is not that much, okay? And this guy played for 3 years. And in those 3 years, he performed at a high level. He has had more catches than any other receiver in the first 3 seasons. I said this over and over again. This guy has broken records, Saints record, NFL records. This man even has a football that is in Canton, Ohio right now. And he's only been in the league for 3 years. This man deserves his money. I want you to understand this. If you work hard every single day, you go to work, you're the first one there, last one to leave, you put it all on the line every single day. When that year comes up and it's time for your review, you want your bonus or you want your raise. You're not going to be like, well, I worked at this company for 5-6 years, and they've really been good to me. I'm going to take a hometown discount. Hell no. You're going to want your money. You're going to want your money. And no, save me. Don't be like, oh, no, I wouldn't. I would take a hometown discount. No, you wouldn't. If somebody wants to give you money and there's opportunity to get that money, you're going to take that money. So why should Micheal Thomas be any different? Why? Because, he's a millionaire already? Stop it. But TJ, what about the Patriots? The New England Patriots, look at them. They won 6 Super Bowls. No way in the world the New England Patriots would pay a player like a Micheal Thomas, pay him $100 million, and look at them. Man, I want y'all to understand something. The New England Patriots have had the same system for the past 20 years. They just so happen to have one of the greatest coaches of all time, which I feel is the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. And they have a quarterback named Tom Brady who constantly take pay cuts. You see, that's what Micheal Thomas needs to do, TJ. That's what he needs to do. The same thing that Tom Brady does. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, and he takes pay cuts, and that's the reason why they win year after year. Well, what I would say to you is Micheal Thomas does not have a wife that's worth $500 million. Tom Brady's wife, Giselle, is a supermodel that is loaded with dough. So it's not like Tom Brady is going to be hurting because he takes a little bit of a pay cut. And not to mention the several endorsements that Tom Brady has with companies like Uggs and Rolex watches. But TJ, what about all the other wide receivers, the Antonio Browns, the Odell Beckham Jr.'s? I mean, they got paid and their teams don't even make the playoffs. It has to be the reason why, because they take up most of the money. Okay, you got me. You know, it is true. The majority of the wide receivers on teams that get big contracts, their team don't make the playoffs. But what if I told you that several quarterbacks who have big-time contracts, teams, have not been making the playoffs? Matthew Stafford, Detroit Lions, didn't make the playoffs. Matt Ryan in Atlanta didn't make the playoffs. Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco didn't make the playoffs. Oh, and this one right here, Aaron Rodgers. They didn't make the playoffs. So what does that tell you right there? It's all about team. It's all about front office. It's all about winning in the draft. Do you understand that? It has absolutely nothing to do with who is getting paid and how much they're getting paid. And if we were going to use this type of logic, we should have been talking about Drew Brees. That's all I'm saying. It's nothing against Drew Brees. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's all about front office. It's about making sure that you are winning in the draft. That's what it's all about. When you are winning in the draft, you can put your team together to be a Super Bowl contender. So when you have to pay players like Micheal Thomas, it would not hurt your team. Can I interest you in the Philadelphia Eagles? Philadelphia was able to go out here and pay some of these top players max amount of dollars because they drafted good and they got a quarterback in Carson Wentz who does not even need to get paid until this season. Well, TJ, we're not like the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, look at all these players. We just paid Cam Jordan. We got Drew Brees on the payroll. We got to make sure that when these players like Ramczyk and Williams and Lattimore and Kamara come up, we'll have enough money for them. I have to go back to Drew Brees, folks. Drew Brees is making $25 million a year. $25 million a year. And I'm going to just be honest with you, and this is just my honest opinion. I don't feel like Drew Brees is going to be a New Orleans Saint when Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore and Marcus Williams' contract is up. So you'll be able to pay a few of those guys. And yes, I said a few, because no NFL team keeps all of their top players. I mean, you have to be smart about it. That is why teams have a win now mentality, because they realize that they're only going to have these players for so long, and then these players are going to be looking for their money. I mean, you look at the Seattle Seahawks, the Legion of Boom. I mean, one of the best defenses we've seen in years. I mean, their defense was stacked. They had Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, linebackers, Bruce Irvin, Bobby Wagner, Cliff Averill. Defense, they had Brandon Mebane. They had Malcolm Smith. I mean, they had all these guys, man. And when they won the Super Bowl, they broke up. Malcolm Smith, Super Bowl MVP. When they destroyed the Denver Broncos, he went to the Oakland Raiders. Bruce Irvin went to the Oakland Raiders. Malik Jackson went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's all about winning now. And you have to be able to make sure that you are making the right decisions. And I feel like the Saints will be making the right decision if they were to sign Micheal Thomas, because I have trust in the Saints front office. Yes, I said it. I have faith in the Saints front office. And you should too, because over the past couple years, they have proven that they are deserving of our trust. If you have Jeff Ireland scouting these players, you got something. There's a reason why the Saints had the best draft class in the history of the National Football League. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of media people, a lot of NFL officials feel like the Saints have been batting 1,000 over the past couple years. So in closing, the New Orleans Saints should pay Micheal Thomas. Period. They should pay Micheal Thomas, and they know that they have a wide receiver who loves New Orleans, who is dedicated to the team, who is going to give 110% every time he hits the field, and he's going to show up every time his number is called. But I would like to hear from you. I still would like to know what you think about Micheal Thomas's contract. Comment down below. Like and share this video. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. Please check out the State of the Saints podcast on YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. YouTube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. And previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.com. Till next time, all I have to say is, who dat?